Hello, I am Argjire Krasniqi and this is my master dissertation project. By choosing this specific place and topic, I could explore and bring up today's important world issue such as migration and also dig into my personal memories and experiences as well. Due to its geographical position, the region where Kosovo is located have gone through a need and struggle for freedom, which instead of democratization, the country experienced war, loss of family and kin, violence, and migration. During this period, it is estimated that 40% of all residential houses of the country were turned down, damaged, or completely destroyed, not able to be reused in their future. After the war ended, not everyone who was once forced displaced decided to come back, leaving their demolished or non-demolished houses as vacant future ruins. Kosovo is a developing country with 1.8 million people, considered as one of the poorest countries with the youngest population in Europe. All the cities in Kosovo struggle with a high number of youth unemployment, but JANJEVA in particular, even though as a former rich, well-known place of golden and silver mines, today has a rate of 49% of unemployment and monthly salaries of 200 to 300 euros, it does not let many options to youngsters than to leave this place to other cities or countries for a better future. JANJEVA is located in eastern part of the country, surrounded by mountains and three sides, leaving only one way of going in and going out of the city. Historically known and still today for being a mosaic of 6 different cultures and religions living peacefully together. Hence, based on their needs, JANJEVA people were easily adjusting their houses into different temporary functions through time as well. JANJEVA is one of the onlyest places within the country who did not experience war in a direct way. No people were killed inside its territory and no houses were burned. However, war and other previous economical crises made thousands of people to leave this place, by leaving behind more than 50% of the houses abandoned. During my visit there, it was painful to see that how people are living in between ruins, and it was giving me the feeling that this place is still being traumatized. But every crisis brings with it an opportunity for major change, and I believe JANJEVA has a unique chance to start all over again. The city's housing stock can be one of the most enduring decisions that JANJEVA can still make today regarding the reuse of those vacant and abandoned properties as a tool to bring transformation of social and spatial aspects through architecture, and at the same time it can become a helping tool for supporting the political and economical domain to address the problem in a more accurate way. This project is a research by design process, which I believe that a bottom-up approach of involving people from the designing process through the reconstruction can be an important way of rediscovering the values of the place itself and create a new perception of identity. That's why I decided to dig more into memories of these cultures by visiting and listening to them in their houses, in their working space, on the streets, or a cafeteria. However, to create the vision of the future, who else would be better to work with than the future of this place itself, the children of JANJEVA? The first workshop with those children was about thinking, wondering, and vocalizing public spaces of today. The second workshop was about their houses, what they like and what they do not like around their living spaces. And the third one, the children were asked to draw their dreams. I can clearly say that their input on 3 workshops we had together was a turning point of creating 3 design strategies for the future of this city. Inspired by its past as well, I want to propose a new way of approach to JANJEVA, reviving lost spaces in these vacant buildings by designing or rebuilding minimal interventions, turning them as job catalyzers who would generate money, and at the same time it would bring new skills to the city. In this way, what interviewers see as a misfortune when the community fell apart after their neighbors left the place, I turn it into an opportunity, creating even stronger link between those who stayed and those who left JANJEVA. And what children feel danger of playing and living around, I turn it into the safest and attractive places. In this way, those ruins will be playing a role of healing the past and instead of showing the pain, and will help to enrich the future. In order for this to happen, a clear strategy should be created. Legal procedures should be taken in order for the city to have the right to temporary use of these vacant houses. After that, the city will evaluate and register the current condition of each vacant building. Individual people and NGOs will be invited to apply with their new potential startup ideas. Based on the business function needs, the city will choose a specific building, will reconstruct structure elements of the house, will open up to the outside spaces, and deliver the keys to the new user. Furthermore, interventions inside the house will be done by the new tenant, who will be provided with a percentage of funding and a loan as a support for starting their business. In this way, not only the new identity perception would be enforced, but the feeling of care of the place would increase as well. If we agree that 250 euros per square meter is a reasonable budget to build in Kosovo, where the workforces are very cheap, then it will take around 11 years for the whole buildings to pay themselves off. To test this idea further, I worked in 3 interventions. The first intervention is about regrounding, opening private voice to public by generating new possibilities of public use. These are the public spaces of today. All the spaces play an essential role to citizens' life. Protection from wars, a space to protest, and a space for informal market and gatherings. If demolishing fences and opening up the voids around the vacant buildings as well, new public spaces would appear, not only creating a new relationship between the private and the public domain, but raise a new connections on their shared norms and values as well. Hence, it would bring a conceptual view of the urban memory, stimulating social innovation when someone can enter freely into these spaces but still having an address. The second strategy is about reviving vacant structures for new experimentation. After creating this atlas of vacancies, documenting each vacant building located in JANJEVA, I could see that around 338 buildings are expected to be turned into life again. If I simplify the forms of these houses, then it is clear that all buildings come from a cube, creating 4 different shapes out of it, which allows using the similar reconstruction principles and guidelines to each of them. Hence, in my opinion, it is very important to not see these ruins as a border in time, but as a moment of the history, and they should be shown as such in the architectural interventions as well. One of these buildings is chosen as a prototype in order to test this idea and design it further. As I mentioned it before, the building will be chosen based on the proposed function and needs. I decided to search for a possible library building, where the rich history of JANJEVA could be celebrated. Having this in mind, I chose one of the oldest and the most potent heritage vernacular building of JANJEVA. This building, positioned close to the school of the city, that witnessed the most, is a 3-floor vacant tower built with natural rocks. After taking out the damaged roof and disassembling the interior, a new reinforcement of wooden grid would be added within the building, protecting the outside walls and at the same time helping other elements of the interior to be added. This intervention, inspired by traditional architecture, not only gives the respect this building deserves, but it also improves all these spaces with more natural light and ventilation, which will allow to enter the building. Similar interventions will be done to each other vacant building as well, securing the structure elements, keeping the layers of the outside walls, and leave it open for the users to make needed changes inside those spaces. I believe that this kind of intervention will not only stimulate new startups to take place and making steady income, but will also be performing as a healing function on urban domain as well. And the last intervention presented is a public building intervention, the first one to reflect to the current situation. Located in a very strategic position and dominating the landscape, this former school building has a history of segregation past, of times when certain children, because of their nationality, were banned from school system for many years. My intention of turning this building from a pathetic monument to a positive, propelling monument, I will show it through different steps, which helps to rebirthing the heart of this place, connecting all dots and spaces in one building, not only for JANJEVA people, but as a place for new opportunity to meet visitors, to explore, learn new ideas, new skills, gain knowledge, and help reincarnating the whole city. Each wing of this L-shaped building that we see today was built in different times, emphasizing one or another important development period of this place. I propose to add the third wing, which will also bring another important moment in JANJEVA, the moment of its revival. Today these two existing wings are in different state of health, and the intervention will reflect so as well. The first wing is a ruined one. Here, I want to demonstrate on how you can build on ruins, with and within ruins, making new architecture which ruins are not seen as a negative leftover from a destructive oppressive phase, but becoming healing and positive, by leaving the ruined outside the walls as a remembrance of the history and adding a new light-skinned structure within the building. The second wing is in a better shape. It's in a similar shape as the proposed library building, and the new design will reflect such as well. In order to create a stronger connection within the city, I cut a piece of wall which allows a new entering passage to happen. The interior will be scooped out and turn the maximum of the volume into a void. Here, together with the other wing, new functions and experiences will start happening. And finally, the third wing, which will express all qualities these two existing wings are missing, creating different atmospheres and use through time. This third wing building is designed for the future, for and from those who tend to dream. Inspired by children workshops, I turned their drawings into abstract architectural forms, which for someone it can be a nice composition, but for children of JANJEVA it could be a proud moment of seeing their dream workshop drawings becoming reality. Hence, the building will show dynamics through hybrid spaces that by expanding and shrinking will be reflecting the topography of the place, leading the user to different experiences. The underground of JANJEVA contains lots of history as well, and it is exactly the underground who brought all communities together at the time of mining, and I want to celebrate this by creating a passage of the sign of inviting people, leading them to the entrance of the building itself. Hence, the former entrance building of this building will stay closed, open only for emergencies, as a symbol of segregation periods. JANJEVA has many problems, and I do not think that what I am proposing is the only answer of this place, but I believe that by these design strategies and interventions, it will help preparing the economy of the city, it will recover the urban and architectural culture and social physical patterns by becoming a source of inspiration and hope for the other cities as well, proving that architecture can not only give birth, but it is also capable of rebirthing as well.